Texas Longhorns just absolutely rolled Michigan in the Big House, beating them 31-12 and solidifying themselves as a championship contender. Now I'm going to start with the Michigan side of things because Michigan is in trouble. Now we knew it was going to be a brand new team with a lot of players leaving and of course the brand new head coach, but there was hope for Wolverine fans that they could keep the same identity and powerful brand of football. But this offense did not look good at all. Hats off to the Texas defense, that is a great unit, but the Michigan quarterback room has got to be one of the worst rooms in the Big Ten. Neither Warren or Orji possess a skill set to even be a game manager, let alone replace JJ McCarthy, and on top of that, they don't have a lot of talent on the outside. And overall, it is just a very underwhelming passing attack. And as for the run game, Donovan Edwards does not seem to be an everyday back. He has made explosive plays in his career, but he does not have the vision nor the ability to make cuts to be that guy. It seems like it's either a 1-yard gain or a big play every single time he touches the ball. And on top of that, the O-line really has not seemed to gel together, and all of these problems together really makes you concerned for this Michigan offense. Now I do think this defense is good, but if the offense can't score, they are going to eventually get gassed out just like they did in this game against every single elite team they play. For Michigan to get to where they want to go, this offense is going to have to improve, and frankly, I don't know if it will. Now for Texas. This team is elite and there isn't much more to say, but as for the offensive side of the ball, to me there's two big takeaways. The first being the offensive line. This is the most experienced group in the country. They are massive, they are talented, and they performed against an elite defensive line. If you know anything about football, games are won at the line of scrimmage. And this offensive line is truly one of the best in the country. They've been together for 2 to 3 plus years, and they are the real deal. The second thing is their quarterback, Quinn Ewers. Now, I don't know how I feel about Quinn as an NFL prospect, but as a quarterback for Texas, I think he is one of the best in the sport. And the biggest reason why is because of one word, and that is experience. With this being his third year as a starter, he has played in a playoff game, he has gone to Tuscaloosa and beat Bama in their own house, he just beat the national champs in their house, and of course he's played in the Red River game. This guy has pretty much seen every big game there is, and he is truly a smart quarterback. He is on time with almost every throw, he's accurate, he knows when to check it down, and he just doesn't really make mistakes. He looks like one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the sport, and if he keeps it up, he may have a trip to New York. Overall, I'm very impressed with this offense, and I think is one of the best in the nation. If you can control the line of scrimmage, which they can, you will win a lot of games. If you have an experienced, smart, talented quarterback, you will win even more. And if you match that with 5-star explosive athletes in the backfield and on the outside, you may just win a national championship, and Texas might just do that. But it will also take the defense, and we will switch over there right now. And like I said earlier, Michigan's offense is horrid, and so maybe we are overreacting to this game, but the defense for Texas just looked good. To me, the biggest area of concern going into this year was obviously going to be the interior of that D-line, as they lost 2 NFL guys. And so how would they replace them was the question. And against a Michigan team that likes to be physical, that likes to run the ball, that defensive front played amazing, and it was a very, very good side for Texas. That D-line is going to have to hold up against Georgia, against Bama, against these other SEC teams. And they did well so far against Michigan, and overall Texas just looks like a powerhouse. Now, as for what's next for these two teams, we'll start off with Michigan, and to be honest, their playoff hopes aren't looking too good right now. And that's not necessarily because they lost this game. I actually expected them to lose this game, and I thought there was a chance at a playoffs even if they lost this game. But it's more so just the way they've looked, and more specifically how their offense has looked the first 2 weeks. And the main factor in why I think it's going to be a tough road is that schedule. They still have to host USC, still have to host Oregon, and make a trip up to Columbus. And asking Davis Warren and that offense to go 2-3 in those games against top 10 teams is going to be a tall order, and that is exactly what it'll take. I don't see a 3-loss Michigan making the playoffs. So it's going to be a tough season for the Wolverines in my opinion. As for Texas, they actually have a great chance at a playoff spot with this victory. First of all, it's going to be a great win for their resume, but their next 3 games should be a cakewalk. But then comes the crucial back-to-back where they play their heated rival in Oklahoma, and then the very next week they got to host the number 1 team in the country in the Georgia Bulldogs. After those 2 weeks, they have a pretty easy stretch of 4 games, and then it ends in College Station in what would be a crazy environment. And so realistically, when you break down the schedule for Texas, It comes down to those two rivalry games. If they can beat OU and A&M, which they should, they will be in the playoffs. And that's regardless of what happens in the Georgia game, which, by the way, Texas can 100% win that game. Georgia has been the kings of the whole country, and the only team that has been able to beat them has been Saban and Alabama. And so someone's got to prove they can beat them. But if it's any team, it certainly can be this Texas team, who's ranked number 2, and by the way, will host them at Texas. And so I would not be shocked if that happens. But the bottom line is Texas has a great shot at the playoffs. Only 2 ranked teams left, and they will be the more talented team in every single game they play, except for maybe that Georgia game, which they have at home. But the first top 10 matchup of the year is now over. The Longhorns dominate Michigan. If you like this video, I will be uploading these weekly about the biggest games of the week, as well as week previews, week recaps, and breakdowns. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later.